That's still one of my favorite Yona pages. So here we are again. We've finished off everything we need to do in the junk heap. And technically we're supposed to go talk to Popola, however, I have better things to do than that. Like run defenses. This seems like a decent enough time to delve into the bazaar again. So for today, we're going to have another look at the DLC. We do have 2 more doors to explore, so let's get on that. As you can see, special costumes don't carry over with us, so we're just headed inside. I never noticed his little grunt when he opens it. Our first task is, very simple. This guy. What I believe is supposed to happen is that this goes on long enough to give you several prescripts for how you're supposed to fight him. As you can see, that didn't happen. But it will go through and cycle a couple of different rules for you to follow. That little bit of mystery, of course, references the grimoires, the black and the white, and the 13 total colored books that they made. And Vessel's forms wavering across time being that the replicants sometimes change their relationships with each other. Like, Nier, in our version, is the father-daughter pair of him and Yona. But the next time they come around 100 years later, the next generation that Popola and Devil are waiting for to, you know, finally kill. That being a replicant, Brother Nier right here. They wind up being manifested as a brother and sister. This room is bullet hell. Everything in here is just dedicated to throwing as many bullets at you as possible. They have very low stamina. The problem is usually just managing to survive running across the floor to get them. And what you just saw there was something very odd. The game glitched out on the item menu, and instead of scrolling up, scrolled back down to defense capsules. I don't know what happened, and I've never seen it before, and I kinda doubt I'll ever see it again. But there it was. Completion's sake. Now in here I mostly want avoiding breaking boxes because I think that the only thing they contain is medicinal herbs, which are useful, don't get me wrong, but not really that much worth it. I decided to try and collect a couple, but well, then this happened. Yeah, real tough. I swear one of those little blood things says thank you. But another one kind of sounds like it says I love you. Anyway, yeah, mostly useless, but then I pick up in titanium alloy at one point, so I began breaking a few more boxes. Obviously there's no real reason for it, but, you know, old habits. A little incoming lines. this is the final door. Now, unlike the bit with the Barren Temple room, I'm pretty sure this is literally just cobbled together from the assets they had. It's not a floor that we didn't get to see or anything, it's just the jump heap. With fewer robots. But more bullets, weirdly enough. That's it. See, the little transition was clever because it was talking about robots. And now we're killing robots. Do you get it? We're killing robots on top of something interesting, though. Well, perhaps not on top of something interesting, but if you look in the background here, you can see that we're actually on the outside of the junk heap instead of inside of it. This effect doesn't exist anywhere else. We can see the tops of all the girders, the little holes with the lights on them, all the pipes that inexplicably lead off to nowhere, and I'm not really sure what they're good for. It's pretty neat. I rather like it instead of just recycling, hey, you're in the junk heap again, on this same platform again. It might not be much of a difference, but it's enough to keep it interesting, at least. Watch me waste all of my MP on Phantasm. It was worth it. It's worth it until I remember that this happened. Then it was a little less worth it. Killing several things with one spear charge, though, always worth it. Here we go. That's better. Ah, the Fool's Lament. The two-handed sword. The single most powerful weapon in the game. It is, I believe, a very heavy weapon. It is, well, two-handed sword. Good armor break. Fully leveled up, its attack maxes out at 999. And what you are looking at now is Shinjuku. This might imply, although again I really can't say much with any sort of certainty, that you may have needed to play a little more of Shinjuku in the past, or else the Shadow Lord's castle may have been less running through office buildings and more kind of looking through the old world. Either way, it's interesting supposition, I suppose. Neither of them happened. So here we are in some kind of pendant basketball court of the future past. It is interesting, though, that it's also green. It's not snowy like it was in the prologue, so... hell, I don't know. Speculate to your heart's content. I will say this particular room is the single one that gave me the most trouble the first time I ever did this. The reason being that all of these things are armored, and my first run, I was very much a proponent of, well, one-handed swords. Which are good, they definitely have their purpose. It's just that against armored opponents, trying to hack away at them with a one-handed sword is almost suicidal. It takes so long to chip away their armor, and they don't have any armor break capabilities, really. You can guard break, but you can't break their armor. so you just don't have any damage potential whatsoever. You can see here, even using the Beast Lord, which is presently the most powerful, like physically, numbers-wise, powerful thing I have in my repertoire, even that is only doing small chunks of damage, not enough. Ooh, this guy. I like this guy. This fellow is one of the... I believe he's the first DLC-only enemy that we see. He's a big club-wielding shade. He does not appear in the main game, although I'm sure that there were intentions to put him there. That's why the asset still exists. And they take a long time to kill. This particular phase of the fight, you will kill one, and then a second one will spawn somewhere off-screen. I will run around like a moron for a couple minutes, and then finally see him after I wonder why the screen hasn't transitioned yet. So just skip ahead. Anyway, these guys are pretty neat. They're all spiny armor, they've got their big clubs, they have attacks that you're not going to see otherwise. You did see them though, so you're not missing much of that extra 3 minutes of me running around missing them when they spawn. Oh, Yona. This one. You ready? We're in Facade. We're on a boat. And we're doing a first-person shooter. Yep. Nier has some weird genre breaks in the body of the main work. Needless to say, this never happens. Where you're suddenly an FPS. Dark Blast obviously being your best bet, but you can use Lance. It's not a big deal. I imagine you can use all of your skills, but some of them are better than others for, you know, a little on-rails shooter here. Not gonna lie, I laughed really hard the first time this happened and I realized what was going on. Wait, I'm pretty sure that this is more or less a break. I'm not positive you can even be hit while you're here. And like I said, that last room was the one that gave me the hardest time out of any of them, including the third door. And, you know, after you finally kill all those things and you're on the 4th out of 5 rooms, you don't really want to go back and not, you know, get credit for finishing this level. So, then they just send you here, where you just shoot at targets and, be on your merry way. You don't need to hit them all. They won't fight back. Most of them go down with one hit. I mean, aiming is a little iffy, but, that's about it. Well, even when they begin getting weapons, they just kind of stand there and wiggle. I really don't think you can kill on this part. My old nemesis, the boar. Who also just stands there and lets you take pot shots at him forever. It's not like there's a score mechanic or anything. You're not getting points for this, you're just kind of shooting stuff. It doesn't affect your rewards at the end or anything, you just go around on the skiff and shoot things. Guys spawn down there where you can barely get them. Barely, I say, not impossible. Evil desert boars were there. Have I ever mentioned this game is kind of weird? I mean, you know, in its own special way. It's not like you're playing Katamari Damacy or something, but it can be a little, odd, if you hadn't noticed. I'm sure those of you with keen observational skills might have come to this conclusion already. And we've returned to the beginning. I kept expecting one final volley of shades, but it's just these jerks. And that's it. And now we have Samurai. The far superior of the two outfits, I must say. Oh, and like 10 medical orbs. And the third door is open. Which we don't need to bother with right now. Say goodbye, Brother Nier. We're headed out. We are headed out. And next time we will go back to the storyline. And speak to Popola. I have not looked into what direction she's going to send us off in. Nor how to manipulate that again. So we'll just have to be pleasantly surprised wherever she sends us. It's either a mercantile or a wedding. Both of which, I think, deserve us looking our best when we go there.